Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Back at you, Gloves Off, and once more we're starting a week. It's spring break for many. It's a week that we're 3 months into the new year. You know, a lot of people ended 23 and started 24 with a bunch of New Year resolutions and still haven't done anything about it. But today, once more, I have a great guest, a great friend, a brother of mine, Grandmaster Richard Hackworth, and we're just touching base on issues and questions that are always around the martial arts and the martial arts businesses and what have you. And the reason we're touching base on it is because there's a lot of people and how martial arts actually is part of each and every community that we see. And we'll take it from there. Good morning, brother. You doing good?
I'm doing good, and I'm always pleased to be a guest on the show. It's great working with you. And as we get started, I just want to say that the internet has changed the world, and we're able to reach people from so far away. I mean, here we are halfway across the country from each other and working together like this. And then, on top of that, we've got people listening or watching from around the world. And if you're one of those people that's not in my hometown of Orlando, Florida, or even if you're here, go ahead and drop in the comments the city, state, or even country that you're watching from. And because we'd love to hear from you, love to know who we're reaching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great idea. But, like we said, Gloves Off, we wanted to, when I started, we wanted to reach the community, not only touch base on the martial art aspect, but also community issues and what goes on. And we've done that for the past, I would say, now we're in our 800th and something episodes. So we do twice a week. So and go figure it's about three before COVID. And the question that we have is that we've been taking, because we had a lot of people message both of us over a bunch of stuff on martial arts, and we always come out with a commonality of a question. Since he's in Florida and I'm in Texas, we kind of end up finding out that there's similar questions going on. And the question now was this week.
Yeah, people want to know about, is martial arts something that you just do for a short time and then quit because you know it, or is it something that you can do your entire life? And I can tell you that having done this for nearly 50 years, I consider it a lifelong journey. It's not a destination. Achieving a certain rank doesn't mean that you've met the end, and I think there are a lot of reasons for people to do it as a journey, to do it as a lifestyle, to get the most benefits out of it. And, I hear people say the same thing about fitness. Whereas, and I agree that, you should try to be healthy your entire life. But when you take into account that the martial arts carry so many more benefits, not to mention the potentially life-saving skills that you learn, should you ever be the victim of attack?
That's a great question. Is it just a temporary thing, or is it something that's lifelong? Listen, I'm going to be 56 in September. I started when I was 6. I'll be 50 years involved in the Cipota Savat end of things. I started Kempo when I was 17, when 56. That means, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing it for 39 years. People do not understand. Does that mean that we're no good at it? And it just means that it's been become part of our life. I couldn't, this is something that I do. This is something that I love. This is something that I never, let me put it to you this way. I never wanted to be a teacher, not once. I didn't want to, but in order for me to pass on what I knew and practice what I knew, I had to teach others. And that's how it started. And every martial art is good. Every martial art comes from a different part of the world. Where in each part of those worlds, it is not something temporary. It is something that is it's done in a longitude period of time. You said one thing about fitness and and weightlifting and all that stuff. A lot of people look for a martial arts school, boxing school, and go to a weightlifting gym because they're being bullied at school. They're fragile people. And a lot of people go lift weights and become bodybuilders because they were getting bullied at school as well. So they become bigger and they become more intimidating and so on and so forth. And others go learn how to fight, right? But they're both, how can I say, habits that are good for you. Now, you know, you have, how can I place it? This is something that's life. It's something that you train for your life. I mean, what would be the differences that you came up with in the different scenarios that affect that?
I know first for me that I noticed with the teachers that I've had over the years, especially the older ones, that maybe they have limited physical abilities, but the quality of their skill was unmatched, you know. So you have never-ending skill refinement. Martial arts are incredibly intricate discipline. You know, there's always a deeper understanding of techniques, finer points of movement, and variations to explore. You know, even strikes or stances can be practiced for years to achieve mastery. And this constant pursuit of improvement is what keeps the journey fresh and engaging. And I'm sure you can, notice this in your own teachers that even in their golden years, the refinement of their technique is at a point that they are still dangerous men, in their late age because of that skill refinement.
Absolutely. Um, we lose strength, we lose muscle mass as we get older, right? But strength kind of continues, lingers on a little bit more. But when you put that together with understanding of timing, which is something that you have to master, is something that is a little bit more, how can I put it? That's gonna achieve that reality kind of sense, right? The reason. Now, a lot of people have a misconception of how much you should train. They'll put somebody in at the age of 5, he gets bored by the age of 8, and they expect them to be Bruce Lee by the age of 9. It's not going to happen. You have people that want to be world champions and they quit at the age of 13, and then they come back at the age of 48. It's not going to happen. You have to continuously be progressing forward. You have to get into that and you have to get into that area, because a lot of places, what I've been seeing is a lot of interviews that I've done with people that train in the martial arts or train in the arts, is that you get around good people that start caring, and you start seeing that positive energy going through, and that positive energy you start doing not only in your life but also upon everything else that you do in your work field and in your work and in your community or what have you that you go through. And a lot of people kind of do not realize where that positive energy comes from, and it actually comes from a lot of these schools that they've been training for a while. I guess that positive energy is what gets me.
Well, I think part of the point that you make there that resonates with me is the evolving techniques and applications. that the martial arts are living traditions and they adapt over time. There are always people developing new techniques, strategies evolve, and practitioners discover more effective ways to apply their skills. So staying relevant in a dynamic art form like that requires continuous learning and integration of new knowledge. And you see that over the years where, especially if you've been with the same teacher for a while, the way they taught, when you first began, now that you're an older belt or a higher belt, they're teaching in new, different ways because they have to keep that information fresh. They have to keep it evolving. And that's how we grow as martial artists because of the evolving techniques and applications.
Absolutely. You touch base on a thing that it's evolving. Um, New things evolve, new training equipment evolves, new uniforms or what have you evolves. But I'm going to put this back into the martial aspect of it. You know, Patton is quoted on saying that he used tactics that were built by the Roman generals, and they used tactics that were built by the Greeks, battlefield tactics that were used by Napoleon, and so on and so forth. So it's always been used. It really hasn't changed much. These tactics haven't changed. These things, they might, equipment evolves, new matters evolve, new training methods evolve. That does change, but the actual usage, the basics of it, hasn't really changed much. It just, you know what I'm saying? So that gives you the essence that this is something that is the longevity of it is nonstop. It's always going to continue. You might have a different perception because laws change. If you look at it this way, self-defense laws change left and right. So you have to be on top of that as well. That's the way I look at martial arts. It's something that the issues that I was facing when I was a kid are basically the same issues that some of these kids were facing now. And so you can relate to that. But if you never faced them, you can't relate them. You can't, you're just an assumption, I guess. There's that saying, you can't teach what you haven't lived.
Right, right. And you made me really think there about that in the fact that philosophies and strategies and principles do stay pretty much the same, and that they in over thousands of years. What actually changes is the practitioner. Just on a physical level, like our maturity and our body changes. As we age, our bodies change, and what worked for us in our youth might need adjustment later because maybe we're physically slower or not physically as strong. But martial arts training adapts to these changes. It emphasizes different aspects of techniques that suit our evolving physical capabilities. Um, a lifelong journey allows for this necessary adaptation and ensures the practice remains relevant throughout life. Because, like you said, the strategies are going to stay the same, but we're going to discover new ways to apply them because we have changed. And that's an important thing for people to understand that sometimes when you're changing physically and you can't do certain things the way you did when you were younger, it just means that you're reaching a point where you need to grow in your ability to apply the tactics, the philosophy, the strategies in a new way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you look at, let's just take boxing for right now. You take Casamato, he taught Sugar Ray, and then he taught Tyson. He was in his 80s, and he wasn't passing on knowledge. Now he's been gone for many years. He passed away in the 80s, 1980s. So now you have people looking back to some of his videos and trying to pick up on what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? So what he was looking for, because now they want to emulate that into their training. And in today's world, like you said, into the internet, we're talking from one state across so many other states, from Florida to Texas, and we're in constant communication. Now we have videos that are placed up on YouTube and stuff like that. That are people now that never trained with Cosamato, are using his methods or implementing his philosophy in a way into their own training progressions. And to me, that is something that is great, because they continue passing on a tradition, right? No, not really a tradition. They kind of pick up on that because they're not students of his, so they couldn't pass on a tradition. But what they're being influenced by such things. But in a way, it's good. In a way, it's not, because you start seeing what they're doing is what people are searching for now.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing with like those videos, and what people are discovering more than his training methods are his actual philosophy. And it's the philosophy and mental growth that changed Tyson and the other fighters that he trained over the years. And in the martial arts, we have a rich philosophical core that emphasizes discipline, respect, focus, and inner peace, which you might not see in some of the other combative sports. But when we're delving deeper into these philosophies, we understand that that's why it can be a lifelong pursuit. Offering valuable insights and personal growth opportunities that go way beyond the physical aspects of training. And when we learn to apply those lessons, those philosophical lessons into our daily lives, that's what makes us martial artists.
Absolutely. And and you see a lot of parents that think that guess what? I'm going to take my son. He's going to learn a couple of techniques in 3 months. It's over with. Ain't going to happen in 3 months. It's not going to happen in a year. You have to build up the confidence. It's got to happen in a while, and those things have to be used. It's a progressive training, a progressive learning. It's one after the other. You know what I'm saying? It's not done as how can I put it? You learn it over a weekend and come out and you already understood that. No, it doesn't happen that way.
Right.
You have to do over and over.
Well, that's all part of the journey itself, that martial arts training is a metaphor for life in many ways. And it's about constant striving for improvement, overcoming challenges, learning from your setbacks, and so many other things. The journey itself has its ups and downs, just like any other field of endeavor. But it's the victories and defeats that become invaluable teachers to us, shaping us as individuals, shaping our character and our resilience throughout life. And the truth is that that's the part of the journey that makes it so valuable to us as human beings, because there's always something new to learn, a new level of mastery to achieve. And making practice a lifelong pursuit is the only way you're going to unveil the levels of all of that, all the layers of the training, all the layers of the lessons, that those things only happen if you do it as a lifelong journey. And I remember somebody describing it as an onion, that you have to keep peeling back each layer, each layer, each layer until you get to the core. And that's what we do. That's why it is a journey.
Absolutely. I agree. And people that are searching for martial arts or searching for training, they have to research what they want out of it and find a place where they fit in the school. And there's a lot of schools that would sign you up in a heartbeat, and that school is not for them. And me or us as people, as instructors in that field, we have to be able to guide them for what they are looking for. Because if you can't, then you're doing a disservice to them, and you're doing a disservice to the whole community, if you want to put it that way. Why do I say that? Because they're going to train with your school, or they're looking for something else. They're going to train in your school. They're going to leave with a bad attitude because that's not what they wanted. And they're going to look at martial arts because of that lesson that they had in life as bad, as a bad element. And it's not that way. So, and I understand people are looking for the buck, and a lot of schools are told that everything is the same and you can find it in this school and we have all the flavors of the month and all that good stuff. It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Be truthful with them. If you have a kid that wants competition training, find out what type of competition training: tournament training, competition tournament karate training, or competition training like boxing, golden gloves kind of thing. Talk to them. Don't tell them you do everything, because you don't. And specialize on that. There is no, there is no, there is nothing horrific that I see than to try to tell somebody that this is what they have to do and they're looking for something else. Send them somewhere else. Pick up the phone and send them to a colleague. Be like that doctor. You know what? You came to me. I found this out. I'm going to send you to a specialist. I'm going to refer you to this person. Go that route. And that's what we have to do as well. You got somebody that wants grappling. We don't do grappling as in the school. We do something else. It's more kickboxing element, or we do more Tai Chi element. And you want grappling? I'm not going to tell you that Tai Chi is a grappling art and you're going to do this in the street like BJJ, or and I'm going to start teaching you this, because it's not. So send them to those schools. Refer them to those. People in today's world are smarter than what we think. The internet can find everything, and be able to refer them. And I think that's what's lacking in today's world. But I think, like you said, longevity. It's a lifelong lesson. It's a lifelong training, and I think we have to take.
Yeah, I'm very glad you brought that up. Actually, maybe we could have started with the fact that, you know, you as an individual have to decide what the purpose for your training is, why you want to do it, and then you start your journey, because a teacher can only guide you along the path. They can't walk it for you. They can make the path smoother to go on by guiding you in the right direction, but you're the one that has to do the work. You're the one that has to put in the training, and you have to walk your own path. And if you choose the wrong path, no matter how well you are walking it, you are not going to feel fulfilled. So sometimes people need to have a little clarity in what it is they want exactly before they even get started.
Absolutely, absolutely. You brought up a bunch of great questions, folks. If you guys are liking what we talked about, click like, share, ask questions. If you want to ask a question, whether we're going to do this uh, kind of once a week or twice a month, try to answer the majority of the questions that we get. Because number one, Grandmaster Hackworth is over in Florida. I'm here in Texas, and we're finding out that the questions are the same. And there's similarity. They might be worded differently, but the questions are about the same, And so we're picking each one, and out of those questions that we get, and we're doing this episodes on Gloves Off for that purpose. And we'll take it that route. And so keep those questions coming in. Like I said, share, like if you like the material, and subscribe.
Absolutely. And also, if you have a question and we choose it to discuss on the show, we'll be glad to give you a shout out. So if you have one right now, go ahead and drop it in the comments for us, and we'll give you a shout out on the next show when we talk about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, brother, we'll leave you with this. Folks, we'll leave you with this one. You stay safe, be safe, and God bless you. Until next time, much peace.
Thank you. Peace.